Welcome everybody to a special live edition here with the Miami Marlins franchise in Season 3. We are playing with the prospects today. This is all about the future of the franchise and the top prospects we have in the organization. We're going to spend time at AA with power-hitting first baseman Joe Brown. We're going to go up to AAA and check on the development for Tyler Soderstrom, Jacob Berry, and all the top players we haven't gotten enough time with in the series. They could be at the majors in some cases, next season, a couple years down the road, but it's important we get familiar with them and get some games in. Man, I hope that the music is not too loud, because it is really loud in my ear right now. I'm going to turn that down. How's the music, guys? And welcome to the stream. Thank you all for taking some time to check in with the series here. Music sounds good. Thank you. We have hit September in year 3, and at this stage, I do need to actually get a couple players onto the Major League roster. But these are not going to be players that are big factors into what we're talking about today. So I'll make those moves now. I am going to be calling up Dane Myers, and then I'm going to call up Thomas White. And my goal is to get Thomas White actual starts now to close out the season. We'll bump up 2 guys to AAA and get everything kind of settled again. But I want Jack Leiter to pitch more in the bullpen to close the year. I want to reduce the innings on Andrew Nardi, who has just had a rough overall season. The rating decline shows that. And then Dane Myers can just be on the bench. I didn't want to call anybody up. I didn't have plans to start using there at the majors. I'd rather play with them down here at AA or AAA. So I need a second baseman. I can probably get Jeremiah Jackson there. I have to move up a pitcher now, and along with just another bench player. So let's see, is anybody at AA deserving of a promotion? I mean, Jansen Junk. Yeah, he can get the boost up to AAA. And then as I called up Dane Myers, I mean, it would make some sense to call up Joe Brown. I might do it after we play a game here at AA. I think that's where we're going to start off, because there's just so many interesting names down there at AA. And I can probably get by without making a move for now. But the way we're going to start off this video is I wanted to play a full game. I'm not starting off with player lock, but I'd like to play with Vladimir Ortiz. He is the top prospect in the organization, and he's one of the headlining names down at AA. So we are going to simulate a couple days in. I got to fix that rotation. That's right. All right, let's sim past that day. And I need Friday available. All right. Yeah, Thomas White already at the majors and immediately a lower back injury. What you're seeing now is going to make its way into the next episode, which I am hoping comes out tomorrow. Started watching you in 5th grade, and today I finished my sophomore year of college. That is just insane to think about how much time has passed and how many of you have stuck around for a whole lot of content. I'm amazed by that every day. It's crazy how fast time seems to be passing. We're going down to AA to play this game today. And let's get Joe Brown in the 3rd spot here. We're going to see guys like PJ Morlando, and Eric Wagaman has had a really good season down there as well. Kyle Stowers, Luke Keeschel, Andreas Ruiz. I haven't had any chance to play with him yet, but let's get the day underway. Kane, I don't ask for much, but we need to keep Evan. It's going to be tough, I think, long-term to keep around Evan Carter with how good he is and what that contract is going to look like. But we have some time to make that decision. Dude, that's a crazy comment. Cam here says, I've been married a decade and I've still known you longer than my wife. That's how long I've been making content here. When I started making content regularly, I was 18 years old. I'm now 32, and I'll be 33 here in a few months. And it's just wild to think how much time has passed, and I'm still able to do this on a daily basis. And here we are, streaming the Marlins franchise. Vladimir Ortiz only has a 3-pitch mix, but it's been more than enough to this point. Greetings from Austria. Well, hello to you, Ernst. Thoughts on the Twins this year? You know, the Twins are kind of mediocre. I'm enjoying the games more now. At least they're hitting a little bit better than they were for a while. I don't have high expectations for this year as Ortiz picks up a strikeout. You know, I'm just hoping to watch some good baseball every now and then, and last night was a fun game to watch. That's past Stowers at first base as Ortiz gives up the hit down the line. You went live, Raiders. I got on the bike at the gym. All right, you can't get off the bike until I'm done streaming. So you better plan on a nice 17-mile journey or something here.
No ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike.
This is always a nice way to get more familiar with the roster. And I might do some player lock. But there are enough names to where a full game made sense. And it gives me a chance to work on my swing a little bit, which has kind of been, whoa. Ortiz gives up a long drive, and it's a 2-run shot to Anthony Siegler. 7th homer on the year. Wanted that one low and away, and it ended up about dead center. Any interest in trying out rematch? I'm definitely intrigued. It's interesting to see an indie company have success with a game like Sifu and then go in a completely different direction. But I would like to see what that looks like. So a hard hit homer and now a double. They had to bring that player out of the game for injury. I was hoping we'd see something a little bit different from Vladimir Ortiz. But it's a good time as he sends one out to deep right, and it's off the wall. It's a good time to bring up that Ortiz is definitely a couple years away. And down here, when we play these minor league games, we're going to see some guys struggle. That's the nature of it. If you're curious if the trade logic is broken, in my franchise, the Nats traded Dylan Cruz and James Wood to the Phillies in consecutive years. Yeah, they traded Cruz in this series as well. They traded him to the Tigers, I think, for Max Clark. Or no, not Max Clark. I think it was one of their young pitchers, Jackson Jobe, maybe. 11 pitches in. Looking like a disastrous outing. Anybody catch the Cubs game yesterday? Wow, another one that's foul. I was, I watched the Twins wrap that game up against the Orioles. I'm like, all right, let's see what else is on. Oh, Braves are in extra innings. I'll flip that on. And before I knew it, the Braves had won that game in walk-off fashion. Then I flipped to the Giants-Cubs in extra innings. And I watched Ryan Presley give up 9 runs in the 11th inning without recording an out. His ERA goes from just over 2 to like something near 7. It was bizarre. 9 runs before an out was even recorded in the inning.
2-2.
Dude. Ortiz getting shelled here as we go down 4-0. I don't know what's going to happen with the Rays, man. Oh, that was Blaine Krim, who just got called up by the Rangers here in the last week.
That's the ball.
Can Ortiz get out of the first? Finally got one here. I mean, I would assume they try to renovate Tropicana, but I don't know. I think long term, like, there's got to be another plan in mind. I always hear about how tough the stadium is to get to, and it's weird seeing some of these teams, these Florida teams, where you think baseball would be super hot, have a tough time drawing. You know, the Rays have been a successful team, and then the Marlins have been, you know, a very unsuccessful team outside of their World Series runs. All right, Nathan Martorella is going to get us started, and we'll try to fight back a bit. We'll see if we play the whole game or not. I might end up switching to a player lock at some point mid-game. Started a Nats franchise about the same time you started yours. Just made the playoffs for the first time in year 3. Yeah, this is also in my series where the Nationals have been a little more competitive, and the division has flattened out a bit. Seeing the ceiling on those good teams fall, and now the Nationals, Marlins much more competitive. Martorella, foul.
That's 3.
Got him. Curveball outside corner, strike 3. Eric Wagaman is hitting .297 on the season.
Yes.
So with him being near a 70, it's possible he ends up back at the majors, but I think even our bench is getting more competitive now. So more likely he's kind of stuck at AAA waiting to see if there are injuries that show up. Yeah, for us to be competitive, I do think that we're probably a couple years away.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, I did the big extension, getting the deal done with Hank Holder, and really the only sacrifice I had to make was spending extra money in the next 2 years, because I don't see those as really big competitive windows for us. I think more it's going to be a few years down the road when hopefully guys like Joe Brown are at the majors making an impact. So he's had a really big season. One of our best minor league players of the year is Joe Brown. He's hit, give us the numbers here. He's hit .280 on the season, I think like 16 homers. We've seen his potential go from 79 to 81, and he looks to be the DH of the future. And it could be the near future as he pops this one up. Veteran catcher in the offseason. We'll see. You know, Ramirez is going to return. I think we need a true catcher on the bench somewhere. And I've moved Carrig to catcher. But it's possible Carrig doesn't make the team, because after this year, I'll have the ability to send him down to AAA. He's on our 40-man roster, so we could develop him more before returning him. But I think Carrig's going to be an interesting bench player. He can play a lot of spots, good defender, he has the pinch run equity. We just need to see if he ever develops much offensive value. That's Simon recording the out, as we'll try to have Ortiz settle it down. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's a good time to work on the swing and get some ABs in with some more guys. I haven't had too much of an issue with the ump calls. Like, they do miss some things, but I don't think it's anything I need to adjust the settings over. who knows? This might be my last series where we have like umpire-based strike zones. Who knows what happens in the major leagues next year?
Oh.
Yo, the Pickens trade was a weird one to wake up to. You know, I think I felt like they were less likely to trade him when they got DK because I thought they were trying to have those two be a pair and really take their offense up a notch this year. You know, they move on from Najee Harris. They're going to have a new quarterback. We still don't know who it is. But I thought they were going more all in on offense in the passing game and not just like replacing Pickens with DK Metcalf. It's just kind of a weird situation now. All right, we got PJ Morlando now at the plate. And Morlando, I see him becoming like the next Dane Myers with us. He can play first, third, left, and right. And he's 21 years old. Defense is all right. And he's only 21. He's still going to be developing. But I think that he's going to be a major league capable bench player. We'll see if he becomes more. The ceiling isn't extraordinarily high. That's a rocket into center. Caught.
Batting fifth, the first baseman, Kyle.
Thoughts on Shadur's fall? Yeah, I thought it was confusing at first, but I think Sanders falling to where he did, I look at it as circus insurance. If things get like out of control, if you're worried about like distractions involving like Dion and what happens if the Browns aren't doing well or anything negative that happens, well, if you spent an early pick on Sanders, you're riding out that storm and you're going to deal with whatever comes as a result. But taking him in the 5th round, you can honestly, if it ever becomes too much, you can just cut him now. It is circus insurance if it becomes a distraction. You can cut a 5th round pick anytime. But you can't cut a 2nd round pick anytime because it makes the GM look bad. It makes everybody look bad.
Okay.
Talent-wise, I think he deserved to go a lot earlier. On the ground from Kyle Stowers. And so far, 5 up, 5 down. It is weird to do it after taking Dylan Gabriel. Like, when they get into their rookie minicamp or whatever, like, Gabriel should be getting snaps before Shador based on draft position.
Oh, outside.
Here's Luke Keeschel now. And we're going to have, hopefully, a lot of development with him over the next year. Pretty soon, he's going to run out of options, and he's going to have to stay at the big leagues. But I felt like he was still a good talent to invest in here for the future of this team. Keeschel rips one. We have it off the glove. That's double-A defense for you. And that's going to go, I think, as a single. Nope, E7.
Batting seventh, the right
Luke
fielder,
Keeschel on with an error.
Ruiz.
Howdy, Kane. Have some Chipotle or ribs on me tonight. Oh, that's a great idea. Might want to share some with DeMarco Lacombo because he might have looked like Leonard Fournette as a recruit, but he's tracking more like Eddie Lacy for a career. You guys are brutal when it comes to DeMarco Lacombo. I appreciate the super chat there, JS. I will say he hasn't quite reached expectations. He's not the most dominant power back, but I do think like in the red zone, 3rd and short, he's really good. But what we haven't seen are more of the breakaway runs. Flied by Andreas Ruiz. Maybe a tad late there on the swing. But I think I have figured out a good rotation for those running backs now.
No.
I think I've gotten it down to what role and the timing I want to use everybody. I have an episode coming against Syracuse. So you might have seen this stream and think, all right, that's Kane's video for the day. Little do you know, I do have a video going out today still. Buffalo and Syracuse is going up as soon as we're done with the action today on the main channel. I don't think Lacombo's been as disappointing as many of you would say. I don't think he's really been a disappointment. He's just not yet like an elite running back, and he shouldn't get all the work. But it's pretty cool to have 3 running backs as unique as we have with that team, as good as they are. And our offense is just super versatile.
One ball. Go straight. Ball 2.
Could be 4 if you love Carlos Harms. It's hard to get 4 involved, especially when Harms is a power back behind Lacombo. Lacombo's a good player. Like, it's almost like Najee Harris when he went super early. Well, not super early, but first round pick to the Steelers. He was never bad, but he also didn't reach expectations for most. And so the perception was always worse than it was. Nope. Might be trouble getting through the third here for Ortiz. Unless we can get one on the ground. Nice pitch. Sound is delayed. Does the game need to be synced back up again? Let me... fix that. What causes that delay? I don't know exactly. Just every now and then there can be something where my recording like falls behind for a couple of seconds and then picks back up. It's different when I'm streaming versus recording. Sometimes the audio gets out of sync, but it's not very often. Ortiz 1-2 and a fly ball for Martorella in center. We'll haul that one in.
Now batting, the first baseman, Luke Adams.
Going first pitch slider again. Don't hang it. But yeah, we didn't talk about the Pickens trade on the perspective of actually who acquired him. The Cowboys, you know, I felt like they did have to add something there offensively. Nice pitch, catching the inside edge. I do honestly like the fit. I was going to be really intrigued if they went like with McMillan in the first round or Matthew Golden. And with Pickens, they have a deep threat, just not like the Matthew Golden type of deep threat. But I think from the Cowboys' perspective, looking ahead to this year, that is, I think, a solid move for them. You know, Lamb can do everything, but he's especially good, short, intermediate, ball in his hands. And then, you know, Pickens being able to do the vertical stuff on an offense now where there's some more attention that's not going to be on him and a more respectable passing game. We should, you know, ideally see the best of George Pickens and a pretty intriguing Cowboys passing game this year. This is shortstop Ronnie Simon. I've given up 4 runs on 6 hits. We don't even have a hit yet. Yeah, some of those minor league positions do get kind of weird. I don't know everything about these players. Like, usually getting into these series, my introduction is seeing them in the show. So, I don't always know, like, guys like Martorella could be out of position. I also don't know if he has a secondary position there, and let me just check. Primary left, can play first and right. But, yeah, it's just his primary spot. Do I have him in center right now? Yeah, I do. So that's really just, that's my fault. And maybe I should move him with Andreas Ruiz at the least. Can I swap those two here in game? Maybe when I'm on defense. Ah, I didn't even want to swing at that at first, and then I was just trying to save it somehow with a foul.
No ball. One strike.
Here is Martorella anyway.
One ball. Two strikes. Two and two.
That's right, Zachary. We are live indeed. I'm trying to hopefully get some offense going soon. I think Morlando's going to be on the big league roster at some point. And he's got a lot of time still. He's only 21, and the ratings are already in a nice spot. So I think by 22, 23, we're going to have something there. But nothing through 3 here for Pensacola. Yeah, let's swap those two. And then I want to see our bullpen options. Yeah, maybe we'll get William Lyons some innings here, because we have a few guys we could show off. William Lyon is a starter. I took him like end of the first draft, I think it was. He's a 61. Throws a nice heater. He's got velo. Let's make a move. And that fastball goes up to 101. Let's see if he can at least control it. Round 2 of 2025. Did I take him round 2? Let me grab my spreadsheet. That feels earlier than my memory. Okay, I did take him in the second round. I got him confused, I think, with Miguel Diaz. Yeah, you're right. Round 2. So William Lyon was the 3rd pick of the series. When I took him, he was a 54. And now he's like a 61. So if he's going to be a starter, have a chance there, we're still probably a couple years out. But archetype-wise, you know, he's got the modern pitches. Triple-digit fastball, sweeper. We'll see if we can develop that. What a pitch. William Lyon.
Strike.
100 top shelf.
0-1. Ball.
He's got a curveball in here as well. I'm a little bit less interested in. What was his potential? William Lyon's potential started off at 78, and I don't know if it's changed. So that's kind of more lower in the rotation. Maybe a bullpen guy, though, at some point. You know, with that fastball and sweeper, don't discount him just because of potential. We can get creative with things. That last one just got smoked.
That's the ball.
There's also a two-seamer in here. He could end up being a good reliever. And these streams are often good for getting me to start thinking about guys in different ways that I don't always think about for the series. Ooh. At Double-A, though, we should be able to overpower with that fastball and get by, I would think. Yeah, Giants D-line's been great. I mean, they know they're in the same division as Philly, and if you can't compete in the trenches, the game's over before the coin toss. It's not the Giants' problem. But we'll see, you know, with Jackson Dart and Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, what they end up doing there this season. I imagine they try to make it a red shirt year for Dart, as William Lyon puts together a pretty fun inning. I'm excited we're talking about him a little bit more. But how about some offense? I'm 0 for 10. My swing hasn't been as dialed in as I would like lately, and I felt like playing a full game would help me out more than going player lock right now. But also down in the minor leagues, it can be tough to like just make good contact and feel like your swing's in the right spot. But this guy here, he's different. Joe Brown just in front of it. What do I think Golden adds to the Packer offense? Backhanded over at third, and Brown retired. Obviously, dynamic, legitimate deep speed that allows guys like Dobbs and Jaden Reed to focus a bit more on the underneath stuff. And really, Christian Watson was their only true deep threat, and his injuries have just been so brutal. You had to add another option there. No.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ball. 2 balls.
Who do I have winning the finals? You know, I'm not as familiar with basketball. I would love to say my Wolves, but down 0-1 now to Golden State, and we finally have a hit. PJ Morlando. Morlando, Florida, coming to you at some point in this series. Smashes a home run to deep right field. So let's, first of all, admire the hit. And then check out the stats on our guy, PJ Morlando. He's a 68 overall. So he does have a little power in his game. What I look for more now from these minor league hitters are the vision, discipline, clutch trio. Those are ratings I think you really need to be successful long-term at the show. Vision is going to help you make more consistent contact. Discipline is important for drawing walks. And the clutch is, if you're not familiar, when runners are in scoring position, clutch replaces your contact rating. So higher clutch, higher average, more likely to get hits with runners in scoring position. He's a very solid player. I forget the exact number of his potential. We should verify after this game. I think it's like a 76 or a 78. But if he's already here, 68 overall, there's upside for him to carve out a role for sure. Think about guys like Alec Thomas who have been starting, and they are even lower in overall, or lower than that potential. He's a 73. You don't have to necessarily be a B or get into the high 70s, low 80s to be a good player. It just kind of depends where your strengths are, and it's nice when guys have more defined strengths. Rather than all their ratings really spread out and equal, I find those guys to be more frustrating.
Leading off for Columbus, the catcher, Anthony
All right, so let's keep it going now with William Lyon. Keishel catches it. Yeah, they definitely did Stowers a little dirty with the ratings, especially seeing him off to such a great start this year. I mean, he had some major league experience that wasn't, like, amazing, but they really had him lower overall than you'd think. Stowers has been one of the Marlins' best players this year. 100. Good luck. And now I'm thinking we throw in the curve. And it's lined at Morlando. Thomas does have beat potential, yes, but he plays right now as a 73, so he's not at it. Just kind of saying that you can get production out of a guy who isn't, you know, at that beat potential mark. Kind of worded it weird. But it's one thing to have beat potential. It's another thing to kind of be at your potential. That's the interesting thing about this game is not everybody makes it there. They hit it hard that inning, but quick inning for Lyon. And now Luke Keishel. So I talked about this being a critical stretch for Keishel as his numbers haven't been great this year. He is more of an example of a player whose ratings are spread out or pretty even across the board. So there isn't a lot of defined personality yet to the skill set. But he's a 68 overall, B potential. The only way he's getting there if he starts hitting better the next couple years. So we do take a bit of a risk, but there's upside with Keishel. And down at AA, he should be able to succeed with these ratings. It's just not happening quite yet. Those low curves have really been giving me trouble lately. But we're going to work this count 2-2. Just a piece of it there. I made this view. It's a custom hitting camera. Now, sometimes it's not ideal with, like, the top of the zone being, like, in the sky, and at times I can lose the ball. But I still like this hitting camera a lot. I make it every year. I take a screenshot in a stadium, and then I go to the next game, and I find a player who's in both games. So the strike zone looks the same, and I recreate it. I don't know why I can't lay off a sinker. Andreas Ruiz. So Ruiz is a long ways out, but he has sky-high potential. Man, just missing going down the line. I like how you can see first and third. Exactly. I like the peripherals. I think you can be creative with the zoom to kind of get that front-facing view of the pitcher where you like it, how much depth you want there to appear. You know, I've been playing some of the older baseball games lately, just popping them in and trying them out. And the thing I always notice is, like, the Ruiz singles one through. Just the way the camera is set up and the focal point and everything, it makes the pitchers look like they're 10 feet away from the hitter. I like, you know, there's 60 feet 6 inches there. I want it to look like that. Ruiz takes off. I will test any AA catcher not named Ethan Salas. Getting away. Can we get there? No. I thought there was no chance he'd make the play that fast. Nothing says springtime like watching Kane play the show and eating strawberries outside with my dog. I could go for a couple strawberries, not gonna lie. Thank you for the super chat. Hope you're enjoying the day with your doggy.
3 and 2.
This guy can't hit a thing. Look at 2, 4, and 5 in this at bat. I feel like I've seen a lot of really tough pitching lately. Like those sliders like that, change-ups on the inside corner. All right. I'm really enjoying the William Lyons show, though. Where's the cat? He is not in here right now. Last I saw, he was causing trouble in the kitchen. I'm due for him to come in here at some point, though, and see what I'm up to. Busted the bat. That one hurts.
Now batting, the first baseman, Luke Adams.
Get used to this Marlins action here in the spring and summertime, everybody. I'm really trying to have my series be more contained to, like, their seasons. And, you know, I want the bulk of this series to be prior to September. So we've still got all of May, all of June, part of July before College Football 26 even comes out. And we're already approaching year 4 of this series. So I feel we're going to move at a really good pace. Have a complete experience without going to, say, December. As that one threw the first baseman off the bag. Lyon was just about out of the inning. Yeah, I know. This guy can't hit a thing, and then he drops a slider on the outside corner or outside edge.
Hey! 1 and 2. Oh! 2 and 2.
All right. He didn't have any interest in that one. Strike 3 for William Lyon, who has sped the game up with 3 really good innings. But we're waiting for some more offense to show up here for Pensacola. Yeah, the Rockies series was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed building that team, even if we never actually had the success I wanted. Those Dodgers, man, they're like the best sports gaming final boss I've come across. What potential grade is Lyon? 76 is what he was drafted at. I'll double check after this, or 78. I'll see if anything's changed. Yeah, I'm just still trying to get the swing dialed in. I'm a little bit slow right now. Yeah, I think with that stuff, it's enough at even 78 to make it. Fly ball, Ronnie Simon gives it a ride. And consider our budget, like, one thing we haven't really had to do in my series is, like, move players for budgetary reasons and, like, keep starting over at certain spots. And that might happen in this series. We might have to rely more on see potential players. Just because it's the only way to make it all fit. And eventually players get too expensive. We have to trade even though we're not a selling team. We'll see what happens with the budget if it changes. But I felt like the Hank Holder deal was necessary because the value could have obviously gone up. It would have been very, easy to wait and eventually pay more to keep him around. But I think in the low 20s, we can handle that.
0-1.
I think there are less A and B potentials in the game for sure. You kind of have to recalibrate the way you look at certain players and like see potential guys aren't throwaway. They're a tier lower, but they can still have major league ceilings.
Number 9.
And they can be really good players. Like a lot of the players we've enjoyed watching in this series. Jonah Bride as an all-star. Xavier Edwards, competing for a batting title. Those are in the 70s. Hard to catch up with that one.
No ball. 2 strike.
By far more so in the show, overall is less correlative to overall. Like in general, higher ratings mean better results, but it's not always true in this game. And you can have, what I like especially, guys surprise you. You can have a 72 overall who has just a big year and is an all-star. It's a lot less likely for that to happen in other sports games. So there's also an element of just giving those guys chances, like I gave Drew Jones the opportunity to show he was ready at like a 69 overall because there was a chance it could work. It didn't, but he still grew a few overall and will come back and try again later.
1 ball. 2 strikes.
Yeah, Craig Johnson with the Nationals is, having an amazing year, and I'm probably going to be raising his potential regardless of what happens. Might even be the right move to do it now so that he's not already regressing when he doesn't deserve to be. But this fastball sweeper combo with Lion is really fun. Like, he should be able to really develop well against these AA guys. He is getting tired, apparently. He's about to go 4 innings. Morlando, nope, had to trap it.
Now batting.
Hello from Germany. Thanks to you, I'm now a little bit into baseball. That's what I'm talking about. It's a great game. But it seems that for those who aren't already familiar, it's kind of a tough one to get into. And I think games are so helpful for that.
Now pitching for Velocity.
It kind of simplifies things, makes it less intimidating.
Delmonte Smith.
All right, we only have 2 hits here. Joe Brown hitting .278.
No, that's away. Ball.
All right, 2-0. Is our patience rewarded here? Not yet.
Strike. Woo.
That was
3
still
ball,
late.
1 strike. Take your base.
All right, we draw the 5-pitch walk. Fielding is so difficult. Do Americans always straight away know where to throw? I mean, if you followed the game, I mean, most of the time, if you're talking about, ground balls, you're just throwing to first base to get the out there.
No
It
ball, 1
depends
strike.
where the lead runner is. If they have too much speed to throw out in certain spots. Like, baseball's certainly a game where you always have to analyze the current situation and know where you're going if a ball's hit to you beforehand. So I think that's part of it, is you're not making all the decisions in the moment. You should already kind of have an idea. Oh, Orlando strikes out. Got a couple pitches I liked in that at-bat. Kyle Stowers. No, thank you. Good fastballs low and away. And it gets away. Joe Brown into scoring position.
Ball.
3-2 now.
2 strikes.
Let's chip away here a little bit. Had to swing, and it's flied to left. 2 gone, as this game, I think, is moving by pretty quickly, no? New pitcher to face Keishel.
Number 75, Blair Calvo.
Is Zave on the trade block? Not so much. I think he's more on the extension list. It's not likely he ends up developing to a super high overall, and that keeps the contract value manageable. So I think that was a really good look at William Lyon. I don't want to press my luck here when it told us he was tired earlier. Let's get one of our new relievers in the game in Benny Piazza. So I remember liking him in the draft, and then I end up trading for him. Slower, low 90s fastball, slider, changeup. I know I ended up taking somebody, I think Kenny Norris, who has a little bit more strikeout upside. We'll get to him with the AAA play. I'll probably do a full game at AAA right after this. I'm kind of getting into a rhythm right now. I didn't add Tyler to the Major League roster, Tyler Soderstrom, because he's not developed really well enough for it right now. And I think it's more valuable to get him the minor league playing time to raise those ratings where he can play every day. So I think right now, Benny Piazza is more of a pitch-to-contact guy. He's definitely not overpowering. So he's going to have to show he can control and manage. Not give up these deep fly balls all the time. That was a missed pitch on the fastball. G-Matt, you talking Charlotte for football? I haven't really thought... Oh, I have thought a little bit about my team for next year. Just like, where am I going? What kind of team do I want? One team on my mind is the UAB Blazers. That's just one team I'm kind of interested in. Their logo's a dragon. Nice change. And who went to UAB, everybody? The quarterback, wide receiver, special teams, hybrid. Joe Webb.
1 ball, 1 strike. That's out the corner.
And when the Vikings, you know, when the Wildcat was kind of a trendy thing to do in the NFL and every team was kind of doing it, the Vikings ran the Wildcat with Joe Webb, poorly by the way, and they called it their Blazer package.
Thank you, mate.
Just off. How do you take that 3-2 at AA? You got Juan Soto discipline right there. Western Michigan would be a good one.
0-1.
Western Michigan is MAC, right? I'm not going to do the MAC back-to-back. Simon gets to it. Got him in time, barely. Like, I think that the Northwest would also be an interesting region, potentially, but trying to think about what team I would use. A lot of them are established. I guess Idaho isn't even Division I anymore. I learned that like 2 months ago. Idaho's not even FBS. Wyoming, shout out Blackjack. Andreas Ruiz. Gone on one. San Jose State. That's a good one. I have 2 hits. I don't feel like my swing has been 2 hits bad. But I'd like to get something here late.
Yep, he's out.
Now batting.
Coastal Carolina, Blue Field. Texas Tech.
1 ball, no strike.
I have no idea what I'm going to do this year.
Two balls.
How'd that not hit him? I don't think I talked much about Nico leaving Tennessee. I don't really have a lot of college football takes or anything. I don't follow it as closely. I like it. I just don't have the time to be as into it as others. Arkansas State, the Red Wolves, man, they got a nice aesthetic. I'll say that. Chopper. The Gophers do have some good uniforms for sure.
Off for block, the center fielder, number 9.
So the other relievers we have here, they're not so much prospects. But I have to bring one in. Matt Pouchard.
Number 93, Matt Pouchard.
West Virginia would also be cool. I don't know. I typically take like 1-star programs or a team builder. Like team builder's on the table if team builder's made better this year. Washington State's an interesting suggestion too if I want to go more northwest again. Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. They have a funny logo. Or not a funny logo. They have a funny mascot.
No, that's high.
One of the military schools. And I have to recruit like 200 and... How big are the military offensive lines? I know they're undersized, but I don't think they're like 260 pounds or anything. Probably more like 280-ish. Just like 5 Garrett Bradburys out there. All right. Bottom 9. Hasn't really been the offensive showing we've wanted to see so far. But we have one more frame.
Ball 2.
All their runs came in the first against Vladimir Ortiz.
2-1.
Yeah, that is very difficult to see with the top of the zone being there in the clouds.
One time, baby, let's go.
I've thought about adjusting the camera a bit just to help the top of the zone for certain guys. Base hit right field. We got a splitter over the zone, so there's a base runner.
Time.
Let's see if I wanted... Because, like, look how much zone there is here in the clouds for Wagaman. So I always have fisheye too. I wish I could have the zone on the screen and make my adjustments that way. Probably something better to, if I want to experiment a little bit more off recording. But what I don't like with the more default cameras is I find it very difficult to track pitches north and south. Because everything just looks weird to me. That's why I like fisheye 2 more. But this is the one I use.
Ball 1. 1 ball, no strike.
Catcher camera is not a bad one. It's very similar. It just angles differently.
Strike 1.
You know, this is less of a problem at major league stadiums where there is just more stadium back there. It's tougher in the minors because there's almost nothing blocking the sky. And yeah, jammed on a fastball in the clouds. All right, Joe. Joe Brown. He's got another chance today. Two tough sliders, and now down 0-2. 3 straight sliders to get Joe Brown. And now Morlando.
No ball, 1 strike.
How's it going? It's going pretty well. Having a good time despite the lack of production here. They pitch pretty tough in this game, honestly. So we only get the solo homer from PJ Morlando. Otherwise, not a ton of offense here in this full game. It was a rough one for Vladimir Ortiz. We ended up settling it down with William Lyon, and we talked a lot about him. I want to go see now if any of his potentials changed at all. So William Lyon, 61 overall. He hasn't pitched much at Double-A this year. I've kept him at the Single-A level for much of his career to this point because his ratings were just so low. But 78 potential. And here are the pitches. So fastball's got excellent velocity. He has control of it. That two-seam has decent control and good velo. And definitely the sweeper is more so his out pitch than the curve. That was a nice look at him. All right, and now at AAA. You guys want to see Valente Biozzo, or do you want to see Bobby Miller down at AAA? And we can see he has been really good this year. Let's do Bobby Miller. Let me save my game quick. There aren't as many starters at AAA that are like big-time prospects now because I've called up Thomas White. But Bobby Miller on my birthday here, September 5th. Let's make it happen. After this, we could maybe look at doing some player lock depending on time, but I definitely want to get some more at-bats in with guys like Joe Brown. And actually, this is a good spot to call up Joe Brown. You know that? What's he got left here to show us down at AA this season? Numbers have been excellent. We're going to AAA and we're bringing Joe Brown with us. And we'll call up a first baseman there to AA. And this is where Joe Brown's going to finish his year. The Jumbo Shrimp, Blue River Stadium. Let's go. A lot of interesting guys here. With Drew Jones, Augustine Ramirez, Jacob Berry, Chet Sparbori. Barry's been the star, and he's become a 70. I'd call him up if there were, like, good innings of playing time to give him right now. But I don't want to call him up just for him to sit. Happy birthday in 2027. Thank you. You're the earliest for what would be my 35th birthday.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bobby Miller was really, really bad for us at the majors this year. I think we're all aware. At AAA, he's been lights out. One of the best pitchers. I mean, my camera's blocking a lot of the stats here. His numbers are ridiculous at AAA. So is he just a really good AAA player? Or will we have a chance to restore his major league career? Well, hopefully we can continue the recent trends here as we get our AAA game now underway. Has that overpowering fastball that was leading to far too many home runs this year. He's one of those 4A guys. He might be. He'd be like an independent ball MVP. That's an interesting bullpen they have down there with some extra space. I kind of like it. 3-2. And rolled over. That's Tyler Soderstrom.
That's an out.
I don't think I like Bobby's ratings for a late inning relief role because nothing really stands out. If pitching clutch and K rate were higher, we'd be cooking. But with his home run rate, no chance. I can't be scared of a guy in a one-run game that he's going to blow it every time. Long relief, maybe. He's probably got one more year to make it as a starter, and then if he's still on the team, we could think reliever. Come on, Bobby. Noelvi Marte on deck. He's got pretty good numbers. He's up with the Reds right now, IRL. We'll take that.
Batting third, the designated hitter.
Will you include highlights of this stream in the next video? Definitely. And at this point, there aren't that many. But we would be talking about William Lyon, that's for sure.
0-1.
I ain't lying about that.
1-1. No, that's a ball.
Kane, you had me watching this at work.
Outside.
And productivity is doubling as we speak. I know it. It's good for morale. It's bring your favorite YouTuber to work day. Wow, that curve is nasty. He's got to be able to figure it out, guys. There's some good stuff there. We all know it. All right, so now at AAA, we're talking about players much closer to making it to the show. Jeremiah Jackson, more in that backup infielder spot, but not one of our main developmental guys, but good to have at AAA. Plays a lot of positions. It would probably take a series of injuries and stuff for him to get a chance at the majors anytime soon.
Ball 1.
Hopefully we can get more than 3 hits. I do love the bat sounds in here. It's one of my favorite things about the modern MLB games. And now the standout player of the Jumbo Shrimp, Jacob Berry. 70 overall. Really does deserve to be called up. And it might, he might get called up at some point here, but it's going to be if I can get him actual starts. If it makes sense to do that. Get to the seats. It's not. And Chet Sparbori, whose ratings are in a good spot despite the lack of AAA production this year. But the thing is with him is he was struggling at AAA. I sent him to AA where he was better, and now he's back at AAA. So he hasn't been here all year. But he hits lefties well, good defense, good speed. I still think Sparbori could be a starting right fielder for us next year. He could be better than Alec Thomas and take that spot over. And it wouldn't be that surprising. But nothing doing in the first for us.
Ball.
Slide into right center. I might do some tweaking to the camera, though. I still want to keep the spirit of it, but maybe I can find something that takes care of that top of the zone a little bit better. And that I can get comfortable with.
He's out.
I don't think Thomas can play left. I think his positions are center and right, if I'm not mistaken. Am I thinking of the right guy?
Ball 1. Up.
I'm not sure why that would be the case.
2-1.
Show him that big breaking ball, Bobby.
High. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
2-2.
Ball 3.
Just off.
Full count.
Is that bat taking a little longer than I'd like?
That's foul.
We're up to, this will be the 11th pitch of the at-bat. Got him. Two-seam fastball, strike 3. Augustine Ramirez. I haven't been hitting with him in a while since he was sent down to Double-A, or Triple-A.
No.
But next year we'll get him back to the majors and see if things go a little bit better. Maybe it was just a bad situation not having a true backup catcher. Maybe he didn't get rest.
Ball 3.
All right, that works for me.
3-0. Ha!
To right center and belted by Ramirez. That ball is off the wall. And he's in with a stand-up double here in the second. That was a nice swing. 4 doubles now for Ramirez and the Triple-A debut of Joe Brown. Getting closer and closer to the majors with a great Double-A season. He is tall. He is 6'4". He's got a very big strike zone, too.
2 strikes.
Got him on a curveball. You're giving me some nasty 2-strike pitches at times. All right, Drew Jones. He's been down here for quite some time now. But I think that, I rolled the dice on him being ready. He wasn't quite ready yet. Next year, we'll spend his last option if we have to. But, he and Keishel are in similar spots where the options are running up. The ratings don't show anything really popping off. We're just hoping that the package can start coming together. But offensively for Jones, it hasn't been great. And maybe even next year he gets more Double-A playing time just to hopefully get more offensive development. But at 72 overall, we're hoping he's closer to contributing to the majors. And yeah, we have a lot of team control still. We'll just have to start maybe keeping some of these guys on the big league roster as opposed to developing in the minors. That's where the bench, we're going to open up spots if guys like Jones or Keishel need it. Base hit, center field. Ramirez, he'll be waved. It's an aggressive move, and he scores. It's an RBI single for Drew Jones. Nice hit. And now Tyler Soderstrom.
Ball, no.
I think Soderstrom is like my Jonah Bride replacement. Eventually he won't be our starting first baseman. There's a chance Soderstrom could be. Or if Bride got hurt, we could put Soderstrom up there. Joe Brown might play first base. I think I like him better as a DH. But Soderstrom, I saw he was a free agent. Not Oakland, I guess. The Athletics didn't retain him.
Ball 2.
So now we are developing him while using, I think, his final option.
Ball.
We scored 1 in that previous game. We've matched that now. We're going to send Jones here 3-1. And he's in there. Kind of a defensive swing. I wanted to take, but it was it was in the zone. All right, 3-2 now.
That's a ball. Take your base.
Caught a break. And that's going to bring up Yidi. I don't know how to say his name exactly. Yidi Cape? Second baseman, decent defender, 67 overall. Another bench infield option. Yeah, the ump is on my side right now. The check cleared.
No balls.
Why would I not get Soderstrom to play catcher with his potential?
1-2.
I totally could. Like, make that, if it's not one of his secondary positions still, I could change that. Like, having Soderstrom maybe as the year 4 backup catcher would be kind of a really good situation to be in.
Ball. Full count.
Ball 4, they're loaded up for Starlin Caba, who, as I talked about in the last episode, is probably somebody we're going to trade because his only position is shortstop. And we kind of have that position solved.
0-1.
Hits him, RBI. Day's been good, Billy. How about you?
Now batting, second baseman.
Back to the top of the order, Jeremiah Jackson. Feels like the wheels are falling off for Williamson. Soderstrom's current positions are set up to be first and catcher. So I can always flip those, make it catcher over first.
Hike. 0-2. Ball.
I'd like to earn my second run with the bat ideally, but maybe I can get our third run. Into right field, down for a hit. We're going to keep them loaded here as we get to some of the heavy hitters at Jacksonville. And this is Jacob Berry. He's hit .291 this year. Berry down the line. It's fair. At least 2 will score. Second and third, an RBI double for Jacob Berry. I forget if I've spent his option this year, but if I have, I really need to get him a couple starts at the bigs. And now, a change? Yep. Another lefty, though. Chet Sparbori, fastball curve slider.
That's a ball. 1 ball, no strikes.
Let's keep it going. Under it. And Sparbori popped up. And that's going to bring up Joe Brown.
Now batting.
I know, he hits 5th. My bad. I was thinking of the double-A order. All right, Augustine Ramirez first. He got this rally started with that double. Oh, is Barry a first rounder too?
1-0. 1-1.
He's a guy who might be getting close to the Rule 5 eligibility. Something else to keep an eye on for next year.
Ball 2.
I'm not even sure what the 20-day option rule is, Tony. Why did I swing at that?
2 balls, 2 strikes.
That wasn't a fastball. 2-2. Nice pick at the right side, and that'll do it here in the second, but we spent a lot of time hammering the starter out of the game, giving a lead to Robert Miller. No idea if that's his real name.
Ball 1.
A player on the 40-man who is optioned to the minors and spends at least 20 days there uses up one of their 3 option years. Oh, I've never, I didn't know that.
1 strike.
It's definitely not in the game. But it doesn't need to be in the game. Off of Bobby. It doesn't need to be in the game because the way MLB The Show works is guys on the 40-man automatically get called up to the majors in spring training. So if they go to the minors, they're optioned anyway. Now, I wish that they didn't set up the spring training that way, but in the current way franchise is, they wouldn't need that rule because their own rules kind of supersede it. But it is annoying because there are times where I'd like to do like a non-roster invite where I can bring a guy up to spring training who isn't on my 40-man roster. But I don't necessarily want everybody on the 40-man to just be
1 ball, 2 strikes.
on the spring training roster because they're not really going to play. They're not going to have a chance at making the team. So spring training wastes an option. Because they're on the 40-man and you have to send them down, yeah.
Leading up for the Jumbo Shrimp, the
It's just one of those things we've had to work around in the show. Here's Joe Brown, 3rd inning now.
Ball.
Yeah, very nice couple of innings there. Bobby moving quick. Joe Brown, number 78 prospect, 4th-ranked first baseman.
Ha! 1 ball, 1 strike.
I've got a show I can hit with a guy that has this huge strike zone, though. Joe Brown. Deep at short, and it's going to be, hopefully, a hit. His first AAA hit, maybe.
The center fielder, number 6.
And it is.
Go!
Joe Brown's on the board.
Ball.
I don't think you can adjust options in any of the settings in this game. I don't believe. That's a rocket to right. Drew Jones is hot. It's extra bases. 2nd and 3rd. Let's put another 5 spot on the board. And now Soder Pop.
Ball.
Former 6th overall pick, Jacob Berry. Currently has a 443 OPS at AAA right now. Hashtag he's cooked. Don't say that. We believe. Joe Brown heads home. Soderstrom with an RBI. Uh-oh, is Drew Jones a September call-up? We'll see. He hasn't been all that productive this year, but this is a good 2-for-2 start. Something else the show needs, international free agency. I'm reminded here. You're never going to see anybody that's signed from Cuba or the Dominican Republic that isn't a real player. Or a real generated player, I guess, that they got wrong. But international free agency is a big blind spot, you know, missing from the show.
Ball inside.
Whether it be those big name Japan players or wherever. I mean, international free agency is a huge part of the game. There's so many great talents that come from international free agency.
No, off the
Be
foot.
great to see it in the game and not just all about the draft. All right, we get one more. We'll take it.
Leading off for Louisville, the shortstop, Edwin Arroyo.
Ha!
We're facing the leadoff man here to lead off the 4th inning. Bobby Miller, one hitter in the works right now. We had a double play, I think, at one point.
He's out.
Why am I not calling up Bobby Miller? Because his major league playing time earlier this year was so bad. I just wanted this to be him developing as much as possible. And I don't want to ruin anything by calling him back up. His chances coming spring training next year, will he'll have a chance to get in the rotation again.
That's a strike. Hard, 2-2.
Yeah, totally worth the chance.
Full count.
But that was some brutal pitching we saw from him. Got him! Slider. Like, this Bobby Miller is really interesting.
Ahoy. No balls. One strike.
I mentioned this earlier, maybe some of you weren't around for it, but I will be posting a Buffalo Dynasty video
One strike.
when the stream is wrapped up today. So, a couple pieces of content.
Z-Ride.
For the Jaguars franchise, I can tell you that there will be one more video in the series, and I have now finished the recording on it just before starting up the stream today. So, I have a lot of editing to do, but the last episode of the Jaguars is incoming.
Leading up for the Jumbo Shrimp, the second baseman, Jeremiah Jackson.
No.
And I think that this this last Jags video, you know, as far as like following the team for a number of years and seeing how they do and still getting in to see some things happen, I think you'll like the presentation on it.
Ball 2.
It's going well, Tavon. How you doing? Am I doing a Madden franchise next year? Yes, that's the plan. With the second channel, I'm focused right now on the Marlins. One more episode at the Jags. And then when college football comes out, I want to do Road to Glory stuff this year. I'm not looking to do Dynasty on the second channel at this time. And then when Madden drops, I want to do franchise straight away. Guys, come on. We're getting pitches up. Just turn on them and crush them. How long do you think the last Jags vid will be? Hard to say right now because there's so much dead time to edit out of it. But I'm going to guess it's going to be between 1 and 2 hours. But I think it's going to be, however long it is, I think it's going to move by really well. I think it might even be more than 2 hours, because I recorded a lot. I think there's like 5 hours for me to comb through. But again, a lot of it is waiting for simulating or tinkering with things where I'm not discussing anything.
Hard, 3.
It's, I think, a good final episode.
Outside. Ball.
If any of these guys stood out today, I think definitely William Lyon in that first game we played at Double-A. We got a decent look at him
2 balls.
and his triple-digit fastball sweeper combination.
Hook.
Bobby Miller's been really good. Drew Jones has been great in this game. A couple really solid hits. P.J. Morlando had a good homer. We talked about him a bit.
Ball.
The name of my playbook on NCAA, I think Buffalo
Inside. Ball 2.
off, like Buffalo OFF, I think is my playbook name. I'd have to double check and see what I saved it as on the share. If you're on PlayStation 5, you can also look up my name on there, Hurricane22, and see if it shows all my uploads. Would also have my Miami stuff in there too, which probably is less interesting.
Ball 1.
All right, trying to go through 5 with Bobby Miller. Kaba at short. Nice throw. Excellent job by Bobby Miller. Now we're already facing a third pitcher for Louisville.
Mickey.
Ooh.
0-1.
I'm planning on trading Kaba at some point, yeah. We'll see if it happens, you know, right away in the off season or if I do it next year sometime. But I'll be looking for the right trade. Luckiest missed curveball I've ever seen.
No balls. 1 strike. Two. No balls.
Joe
2
McKee versus Joe Brown. Yeah, Kaba's a good prospect. It's just we have Hank Holder. And all he can play is short. Ah. Yeah, I'm going to be really thinking about tweaking this this camera. After, you know, I'll do it maybe tomorrow.
1-0.
I just like this. I like this angle especially for the north-south stuff on like the bottom portion of the zone. Drew Jones just rocked one the other way. That is gone. And he's 3 for 3. Where did that come from? Drew Jones making a late push to be called up to the big league roster again. He's had his options spent. Yeah, I demoted him to work on his offense, and I think it's working. Oh, I thought that was about to be back-to-back. That swing felt so good.
Ball. 1-1.
I love to play 2K again, yes. I think I need to get more into streaming and experiment with things that way and see where things go. That's, you know, part of why I'm pushing right now to wrap up Jags. So I can have my Marlins, I can have my Bulls, and then I'm going to be looking to do some more streaming. And I want to play a variety of stuff. You know, maybe I'll come on some nights and I'll stream even multiple games. But I'd like to play more games, more sports, and just experiment and hang out. Now, most of that seems like it would be a good fit for the second channel, but it is going to be main channel oriented streaming. Come on. And maybe some of those streams, you know, allow me to turn those into videos for the second channel or something. But that's going to be my way to, you know, play NFL Street more, or to try out 2K, or FIFA, or FC. Like, I'd be down to play some of the newer games. I'd be down to go into my catalog of older stuff as well, and see if there's anything fun we could do. I've got to try some things out to see what everybody, you know, enjoys. If I come on some night and stream, you know, an older 2K game of basketball, maybe an older FIFA game, is there any interest in that? In what I end up making? I want to try more things for sure. Miller missed. Sal Stewart did not. Over the MLB Now sign. He just crushed that thing 426 feet. Bobby Miller gives up some moonshots when they connect. Now, a lot of these streams I'm talking about, they might just be one-offs where I, you know, just play a little bit in these older games. We'll see about, like, you know, full-on franchise kind of things. Like, they would definitely not be as big as my other projects. But I would be interested in, like, retro rebuilds, especially with, like, older Madden and stuff, because I have more familiarity with football. Maybe out of the park, you know, I would like to cover a lot more bases for sure. I used to stream a lot of Head Coach, and that stuff did become videos. I'd like to do a season on All Pro Football 2K8 with some, you know, channel series legends. I was thinking about that earlier today. Because it's been like 12 years since I've done a season on there. And it was fun. Would I even do a superstar mode like an old Madden? Yeah, I would love to check out like player-based stuff as well as franchise. I don't like superstar as much. I actually, maybe like 6 months ago, 4, 5, 6 months ago, I was playing Madden 08, checking out superstar mode again. And there are a lot of things I didn't like about it. For instance, I was playing running back to test it out, but I had to still watch like all the defensive snaps or any snap I wasn't on the field for. Like there were a lot of things that made it super annoying and time consuming.
Ball, no.
But I still might check out stuff like that too. I have done an all-star game with some of the best players. I did it on All Pro Football. It was back in like 2018, 2019. It was really fun. Down the line, fair, Kaba, what? Huh? It bounces, foul, spins, fair, lands directly on the chalk. You're not even looking. That's a foul? First bounce was out, yes. But what if it comes back?
No. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Foul ball. Full count.
Just leaving this guy out here with no energy. Kaba, deep left. Not that deep. What a great day for some baseball. Absolutely. I believe that Ramirez is going to finish the year at AAA. I think he needs... we just got to the point where his ratings stopped like being negative. So I'm just kind of chalking this season up as, you know, a bump in the road, and we'll come back next year. And the same is true for guys like Bobby Miller. We'll come back next year and see if it ends up being any better. The long reset, though, is kind of my process with these guys. Now let's bring in a new pitcher. So Xavier Curry, he's definitely someone we could be calling up in the near future. Good walk per 9 numbers. He's just not much of a strikeout guy. But in AAA play this year, he has pitched really well. He has gotten strikeouts. He's been a 2.1 WAR reliever. I'm going to make him our first guy brought in here. Xavier Curry versus Noelvi Marte.
No balls, 1 strike.
I'd love to get a knuckleball pitcher on this team if I could locate one that wasn't Matt Waldron. I know the Twins have a guy. Forgot his name. That's on the ground. We'll get Marte. Thoughts on the Twins this year? Pretty mediocre. The offense hasn't been all that exciting, and their roster build really relies on guys like Buxton and Correa and the big names to really carry the load. And Buxton's done fine. You know, he's had, I think, a good season. But Correa at the plate, not so much. Did hit a moonshot last night, though. Corey Lewis, it might be him. It might be him. Twins have some interesting AAA pitchers down there. Corey Lewis is the knuckleballer. Wonder if we see more Zebby Matthews at some point. Andrew Morris. Against the Orioles, they look like the Dodgers. I know that Orioles, the story has been their pitching is so bad. And when I'm seeing the Twins last night just tee off on Cade Povich, it's like it's worse than I thought. Because the Twins haven't looked this good all year.
Ball 2. 2-2. No, that's a ball. Full count. Ball 4.
Oh, I thought he brought it back. Like that foul ball I hit.
Now batting, left fielder, Jeff Sparbory.
Yeah, the O's have been really disappointing this year. And it's not even just the pitching. The pitching is just, you know, major league worst, while the hitting is still not where it should be, especially with all that talent, man.
2-1. Ball.
Sam Moll.
Balls. 1 strike.
A's franchise participant, Sam Moll. Oh, come on. Would love to have a nice hit here with Sparbury. Base hit center field. That'll do. Just fine.
That's a ball. 1 ball. No strikes.
Augustine Ramirez 1 for 3 with a double. Hits one to third. Out at second. Got him. 2 down for Joe Brown. Ah.
No.
Should be a strike. Oh, he got it. Back to the pitcher, a comebacker, inning over. Now I want to bring in a pitcher I have not been able to use yet, but is very close to the show, and I drafted him in Season 1. And this is Kenny Norris. He is 19 years old. He is a strikeout pitcher. Walks are a concern, but I'm really intrigued with him. 44 innings this year, 46 strikeouts. Let's get Kenny Norris into the game. Lefties are not hitting him too well. So he's all bent over here. Fastball at 100. We have a couple minor leaguers then that can get that triple-digit fastball going. And the change. You guys want to see the screwball? Kenny Norris, 0-2. I got to try that again. How tall is he? I'll see. To right center, it's Barry's play. Kenny Norris is 6'5", 207. That one hit 99. So he can throw that screwball against righties, and then has the curveball we can use on lefties. Does he know where to put it, though? Let's try the screwball again.
Ball.
Got him. 100, top of the zone. I think Norris is on our Major League roster at some point next year. But I gotta see, I gotta hear a little bit worse contact, hopefully.
1-1.
The screwball curveball combo is something. I can't imagine having to hit against that, not being sure what way it's gonna break. You don't see the screwball very often. I think the most notable one is Devin Williams. And that's going to take care of the 8th inning. That was fun. He might have back problems.
Leading up for
But you know who doesn't have problems? Drew Jones. I believe he's a triple from the cycle. Yeah, Jones has a homer, a double, and a single. By far the most impressive player from this game. I'd pitch him out there too.
No, that's a ball.
Really happy you still make content. Been watching you 15 years. I appreciate that a lot.
Stay right. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ball. 3-1.
I got a good one there. 2-0. Will I get anything this time? That should have been home run number 2.
That's a ball.
He takes the walk. He remains perfect on the day. Soderstrom turns on one, but didn't get very much of it there, did he?
third baseman, number 3, Yiddy Cape.
Yiddy Cape. Gotta love Norris, ruining his entire body at 19 with a fastball that can hit triple digits, a screwball, and terrible posture on the mound.
Ball 1.
Yeah, he's gonna be done by 25, but we're gonna really enjoy these years we have with him.
No, inside.
Steal time with Drew to round out an awesome game.
Runner, he's going.
105. What is Sparbori's batting stance? I can check for you after the game, Derek. I have no idea what it is. Actually, I have some idea. I'm saying he's not catching that. Uh-oh.
He's out.
I want to say veteran stance 400 because I have seen it today, actually. But I don't know if that is actually it. I prefer hitting as a lefty. For some reason, it is easier for me to time up. At times, I will get more dialed in with righties, but usually lefties are the hitters that get me back on track and I hit better with. And yeah, I'm right-handed too.
2-2.
So Kenny Norris is going to try to finish things off for us. Got some more offense in this game, at least. It was fun. Yeah, in real life, I throw right, hit right, everything right. But in MLB The Show, I like hitting left. Inside out, no.
Ball 1.
The screwball is sent to right center. Maybe Kenny Norris doesn't finish this game out. It's an RBI double. His durability. His durability is a 67, which is on the lower end. Also, for some reason, a switch hitter. We'll throw out Patrick Monteverde, because at least he has a better chance of making it to the majors at some point in this series.
For the Jumbo Shrimp, number 91, Patrick Monteverde.
Wonder what David Geronimo is doing now. That's hit deep to left center. Drew Jones way back. He's at the spot. One away.
No ball. One strike.
Base hit center field, and Louisville will close the gap a little further. And Marte hits one weakly. One there, all we get. One out away. Would I consider going back to Madden 20 to start a new franchise with a relocation team? I like Madden 20 a lot. I don't know that I would want to go back to it anytime soon for a big series. I do have a bunch of classic rosters saved on that game. And that would be fun to like break out in the stream. Some of those classic rosters and do like a retro rebuild on Madden 20 or something. A relocation team. See, I'm not as interested in relocation for that game. I'm hoping they can take things further in the newer games with it. But they haven't put a lot of emphasis on the relocation. That's a good win. Much better offensive showing. Drew Jones, 3 for 3. Bobby Miller goes 6 1/3. 4 strikeouts. That was fun. Remember Andy McKenzie. There's no forgetting Andy McKenzie around here. Ain't no way. Best 4A pitcher in baseball. You guys got to lay off my pitchers. Double A might be short a pitcher. McGaffick's struggles this year have been kind of strange. All right, so we've gotten a full game in with each team. Kind of interested in maybe a little bit of player lock here. Let me get Thomas White back in the rotation here. Who got called up for September? Right now it's Thomas White and Dane Myers. Just because I didn't really think anybody was going to join the starting lineup. But we could do some things here when I get into actually recording the next episode. I didn't feel like calling guys up to sit on the bench. I'd rather play with them here in the prospect stream at least. But we could always call up like Drew Jones and give him some of these at-bats down the stretch, whether it's in right or in center. I can always move Myers back down. Thoughts on my boys getting Pickens? I do like that for the Cowboys. I honestly think that it's, you know, They had to get a wide receiver too. They get a really good one that can stretch the field. And I think that was a specific role that offense needed. Take a little bit of the pressure off of CD to do all the work in that passing game. And some of their depth receivers have just kind of been really, whatever. So it's going to be interesting, but I think it definitely makes their offensive passing upside better this year. They certainly had to do more than I think just take a rookie, which they didn't end up doing in the first. Let me get a player lock game here with Drew Jones. I want to see if we can do it again. I still got some time here at the majors, too, to wrap up. We're not going to the majors in this stream. This one is all about prospects today. Although Jones maybe has been at the bigs long enough to not be considered a prospect, he's still in the minors. It's a minor league special episode here in Season 3. But we just saw Jones have maybe the best game of his season.
Counts 1-0. I got a ball, 1 strike.
All right, 1-2 here in the second inning. They have a good batter's eye here.
That's a ball.
Too tall. Yeah, if he was hitting 240 in the majors, that'd be nice, but he was not even hitting 200 for most of the year. He hits it to right. That one is caught.
3 out.
Of course, exceptional range. Just gets there on the warning track, can wait for it. That's special speed.
You're out. Out. 3. Yeah. 0-1.
Will I re-sign Ruiz? I forget if he's signed for another year, but I would likely attempt to. He's been really good this year. We know he can at least be a bench player. He's been a good starter, but I would like to keep Ruiz on the team, yes. Just kind of trying to protect that time. Orelvis Martinez. There's a name from the Cardinals series we'll all remember, right? I failed to develop him. Third base was weird in that series. Couldn't find guys in the draft. Couldn't develop anybody that I wanted. All right, 0 for 2. Quiet offensive day. No one scored.
Ball 1.
Martinez did get, I think, hit with PED suspension. Little trouble there, but still enough time on the recovery. Yeah, I don't really remember Ruiz in that A's series. If he was on the roster, if I cut him, or what happened there. All right, so an 0 for 3 day, scoreless into extras. We're trying to at least move the runner over. I'm not going to bunt.
One ball, two strikes.
Faith current prospects as of now. Joe Brown. I just think that he's got a chance to be a big-time star in this series with his power and the possibilities of him as DH. Bounced it to short.
He's out.
Unable to advance him that time.
Out. You're out. 3. Out.
We go to the 11th.
That's ball 4. Out. Ball 4. Take your base.
And eventually lose 1-0. Quite a game there. Yeah, Sparbori, I think. He hits lefties well. Has a pretty good deal of upside. I wouldn't mind getting a game in with him, too. I know I'm running out of games on the season, but... We got Sparbori, Joe Brown. I got to do one more of Joe Brown. Now he's at AAA. When he connects on one, it goes far. Into right. There's a base hit. We go the other way.
Batting 8, third baseman, number 3, Yiddy Cafe.
I'm surprised our AAA record isn't better. We've had good pitching there and a lot of good hitting talent throughout the year, but I don't even think we're going to have minor league playoff action this year. Yeah, I think he's the Bride replacement or just the next DH. 50 speed, 63 steal. Now's the time to see if he can steal a base, right? No. That was a good throw. How do I keep track of everything? I do have a spot where I keep like different notes in this series for sure. Otherwise, I rely on memory. Ooh, that should have been strike 3. Hello? Did you wake up from your nap? What are you up to? What are you up to today? He does not want to be held right now. Ooh, watch out, third base coach. Yeah, I love the skyboxes in this game. They look awesome. Into center. Brown singles again. A run will score, and he's 2 for 2. There we go. Just started the Cardinals franchise, went full rebuild, trading Helsley, Gray, and Arenado. Yeah, I thought the Cardinals were a really good team for this game. maybe a better year to do it than last year.
That's a ball.
Guys like Goldschmidt are already gone.
That's a ball. Take your base.
Now batting. Shortstop.
He doesn't want to be held, but he still wants to, like, jump up here and see me a little bit.
2-1.
You wanna jump up here? Want to jump on the desk?
Hey, Big Mama
You usually love to.
Here we go.
Why not now?
Ball. Two. Full count.
3-2, 2 on. We got Starlin Caba striking out. Yeah, the Jays were one I was kind of keeping my eye on, depending on what they do. But, you know, they've signed Vladdy long-term now, so I don't think they're going to be, like, looking to get into a rebuild, but I don't know what you do. All right, Joe already 2 for 2, but we would like an extra base hit. He is currently standing on my PC tower. If the stream just for some reason like goes down, it's not the weather, it's him. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Hey.
Oh, and 2. Ah. Took a big cut there, but the slider gets him. Should get one more at bat in the 9th. Two for 3. Oh, I tried, guys. I tried to give you the home run right there. Joe Brown fouls it off out in front.
Ball. No.
There will be a video today. Yes, I have a Buffalo Dynasty episode set to go up when I'm wrapped up here streaming, which will probably be fairly shortly. I've gotten a couple full games in, and now I'm into some player lock.
Ball.
3-1.
3-1.
Just leave one over the middle.
Full count. Ball
Nope.
4. Take your base.
No one better. Need you right here.
Huh. 1-2.
I did see the Stowers walk-off grand slam, yes. It was kind of conflicting because it's Stowers, but also Mason Miller, who gave it up. I love watching Mason Miller.
Ball.
If you haven't already left a like on the stream, I'd appreciate that. I have a feeling Joe Brown is going to be a fan favorite when he's in the majors. I think there's a very good chance of it. We don't have a lot of prospects with that hitting upside. And for him to already be where he is as a hitter with some power. Like, some guys have his upside, but they're a long way from achieving it. But Brown can still get a lot better from here. He's like 10, 11 overall off of his potential.
count.
Yeah, I'll get Sparbori's stance after the game. My bad. I'll probably do a player lock game too with Sparbori.
That's foul. Hard. Three.
All right. Watching a lot of strikeouts here with Joe Brown on. And we lost it in extras. We blew it. We blew the game. Calvin Fauché. That's why I had to draft a closer, guys. Because we didn't have our closer of the future. All right, Chet Sparbori is now the topic of conversation. 23 years old, 72 overall, 84 potentials, very solid. His batting stance is 5-4-5. Just a nice, slightly open, traditional stance. I might have adjusted his bat angle, because I think 5-4-5 might have the bat slightly differently. Let's do Chet Sparbori now. And then maybe a double A, and I'll call it.
Batting third, the left
Chet's AAA numbers haven't been great. A shorter outfielder with good defense, speed. Really good upside with the bat.
One ball, one strike.
That was a little late. It's a nice, simple stance, though, for sure.
Count is full.
Got him playing in left here. Who out of my current starting pitchers do I see still being there in 5 seasons? Hopefully Perez. I feel really good about Noble Meyer. Maybe him and Snelling. I think, you know, it's hard to say if they'll both pan out long term and we'll be able to keep everybody together. But beyond those 3, not really sure we have a lot of long-term answers right now.
Yeehaw! 0-1. One ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, the Biozo experiment's over. He's 27 and the strikeout upside is just not there. He's not even a 6K per 9 guy. And it's just, I think, past the point where he's going to be a factor for us. Out of options, too. So that hurts. Bouncing that to the right side and losing the foot race. Get me back out there. Now we got some runners on for Chet.
Hey, no one better right here.
Again.
He's up.
The batter, the catcher, Augustine Ramirez.
Joe Mack could be called up too. I think he's nearing Rule 5 eligibility.
Your turn now. Nobody better.
He-ya!
Ramirez strikes out and is thrown out.
You're out.
Soderstrom, we did talk about that earlier. He may end up going back to catcher, especially for next year to maybe be the bench catcher. If I want to send Carrick down to AAA to develop more offense.
Ball four, take the base. Out.
Kane, why is Hank Holder so good at baseball? He's one of a kind. Very rare prospect. I'm like 0 for 8 on the day with Chet.
1-0. Two and 0.
All right, 2-0. Do I get anything here from John King? Not exactly. I was hoping for something up.
2-1. Ball low.
Three and 2 on Sparbury. Just fighting off changeups. Well, it's easier to find the generational guys when you pick
Missed. Ball four. Take
at
your
1.
base.
It's like the only way you're going to do it. We were lucky that there were 2 in that class. I'm taking off.
Two. Hey, he beat it up.
Hey, keep it going. Need you right now.
Ball.
Drew Jones is up. He's had himself a pretty good episode with that 3 for 3 game we had earlier.
Ball. You got a full count.
In the air. And to the gap. Jones delivers again. That's going to be an RBI double to score Sparbury. Drew Jones getting hot, and maybe it's time for him to rejoin the majors to at least close the season out to get a few more at-bats. I still can't believe I had that no-doubt opposite field homer with him earlier. That really surprised me when it happened. There we go. Nice win. Drew Jones, player of the game again. I don't have any suggestions for that, Brandon. It's just kind of one of those things sometimes you have to just keep in mind and get players who have better K per 9. You know, it's a little out of control for sure. I don't really have a solution. All right, I want to go down to Double-A for a player lock game to close this out today. There's Andreas Ruiz, Luke Keeschel, Kyle Stowers. How about PJ Morlando? I went yard with him earlier. I wouldn't mind hitting with him again. Oh, yeah, I got to move Martorella. Let me fix that. PJ time. Get your PJs on, everybody. How many years am I expecting before the Marlins are back in the playoffs? Like year 5, I would certainly hope to be. But I think year 4 and or year 6, I think would be like a good expectation. But I hope year 4 and year 5 we're like in that mix and we're competing better than we are this year, and this year is a step up.
Hey, clutch up. Your turn right here.
Of course, now I'm dealing with this camera being in the clouds up top. That was a contact swing, and I couldn't even touch it.
First base. You're out.
Orlando hit the big homer earlier, though. Wasn't really a big home run. It was just a nice one. Should let that go. How many top 100s do I have? I forget the count. Also, I have a bunch of guys who have been called up this year, so not even sure who's all considered a prospect still. We'll check it out after this, though, for sure. I appreciate that, Jay Bevel. Couldn't lay off. I don't want to lay off either. The Keeschel went yard. I don't think I have 10 top 100 guys right now. I guess like 7 or 8. All right. Third at bat against the starting pitcher. Would I consider adjusting Holder's swing? I like his swing. I've already adjusted it. So I don't think so. I try to adjust all the newcomers' swings to make sure they're not too generic or weird.
Full count.
Stowers on deck. He's got some pretty decent numbers on the year. I think I just missed that one. They're not hitting a whole lot better with Simming controlling 8 of the other players. They have 1 hit, no runs.
No, that's outside. Ball.
Marlando in the air, deep right field. Come on, man. That's it? Only 86 off the bat. Yeah, the bat's a work in progress. There should be some more power that develops over time. It'll probably be what I train for him to try and get him to be more of an impact guy one day. I'll take this. Oh, wait a minute. We're not the team with 3 hits. We're the team with 8. Why did I think I was Colorado or whatever they are?
Nope, that's outside. Ball.
No wonder I have 5 at-bats. We have 8 runs.
Ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
8-1 Pensacola. Morlando, a slow dribbler up the middle. And he just beat that out, so we'll at least get a hit.
The batter,
Not the way I wanted to.
Stowers.
Morlando also has 61 speed, so maybe in the right situations can steal a base, but it's solid.
1 and 2.
When I wrap up Jags, I would like to check out Road to the Show on the main channel. I can't commit to a full series, but I do want to at least check it out there.
He's up.
And I have the last Jaguars video in the works right now. Can I get one more at bat? You can skip my fielding here.
You're out. Out. 3.
And he runs it down. P.J. Morlando finishes things off for a Pensacola W. Stowers goes yard with 2 doubles. And Ortiz was a lot better in this start than he was in the one I put together earlier today. So, how many top 100 prospects do we have here in the organization? Well, our top rated right now appears to be Vladimir Ortiz at 28, then pitcher Michael Kirby, who's even further out than Ortiz. We have Johnny Greaves, still considered a prospect, which means we'll have Meyer on here too. Nelson Iden is our 4th at 51. We have Andreas Ruiz, that's 5. Starlin Caba makes it 6. 7 is Joe Brown. 8 with Sparbori, closing in on his ETA. And that's all. No Noble Meyer up here, otherwise he would be in that list. And interesting guys down the board. I can't even explain why Luke Keeschel is ranked our 20th prospect. Unless they're considering him to be like behind schedule, but his potential's good. Higher than a lot of guys that are ranked ahead of him. Yeah, that was fun to get a deeper look at the prospects today. I really enjoyed that. Got just a couple weeks to close out the season here. And that'll be for the next episode that I'm looking to bring your way tomorrow. I'll be working on it and should be able to get it done, I would think. But now I got some minor league highlights to put in there, and it'll be a nice compliment to the episode. All right, everybody, that is going to wrap up the prospect stream for season number 3 I am now going to be getting the new Buffalo Dynasty episode up. It is, all I got to do is flip it to public. But thank you all for watching. A lot more Marlins franchise on the way. We'll do these streams again when we have more prospects to talk about. But that's it for me today. Unless you want to go to the main channel, youtube.com/MrHurricane, and check out the Buffalo Bulls Dynasty. The video was just made public. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to my main channel while you're at it. And have a good night, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.